Namaskaram. Let us continue with the Sunda and Upasunda story. In this context, I have an idea to go to a second part of the same story to complete it on the same day. And at the end, when time restriction forces me to stop there, I shall announce that there will be another part and immediately record a second video and complete the story. This will be done only when it is necessary, and then I shall announce in advance. So, with the story, we left when, because of the terror of Sunda and Upasunda, and when the gods complained, Brahma thought about it and asked Vishwakarma to make a beautiful woman. Vishwakarma is an architect or an engineer who builds palaces and houses and towns. This is a very rare occasion when he was asked to build a woman. And Vishwakarma took all his resources and created a woman, an Apsara. Apsara women are damsels in heaven who are very beautiful and who sing and dance and entertain Devendra, other gods, and even the guests. So, a very beautiful Apsara, not imagined possible before that. And Vishwakarma named her Tilotama. And Brahma asked Tilotama to go where Sunda and Upasunda live and tempt him. And Tilotama went there and found Sunda Upasunda in the company of beautiful women who were singing and dancing and entertaining the two Asuras. And as soon as they spotted Tilotama from a distance, the two Asuras left whatever they were doing. They left the hands of the women they were holding and they rushed to Tilotama. And Sunda caught hold of the right hand of Tilotama and Upasunda caught the left hand. And they started pulling her to each other. And not only were they satisfied that they got one hand, but they didn't want the other person to hold the hand as well. So a quarrel started. She is mine, she is mine. The two started quarreling and fighting. Fighting initially started with fists, and they took their weapons and they started a sword fight. And fiercely they fought over Tilotama, and they fought so fiercely that they were wounded, and ultimately both were killed by the other. And that is how the menace of Sunda and Upasunda was removed. And the only loophole in the boon given by Brahma, that they can be killed only by one another, was met by the genius of creation called Tilotama. And saying this story, Narada advised the Pandavas that this is a lesson you must learn, that a woman could cause calamity even between two very loving brothers. I quoted the Malayalam verse, Kanakam Moolam Kamini Moolam Kalaham Palavidham Ulagil Sulabham. And Narada himself suggested that they each stays 1 year with Draupadi in the main palace, and during that period all the other four should stay away in other palaces. And when the year passes, the second person, when Yudhishthira finishes, then Bhima takes over. He spends 1 year with Draupadi, and like that. 5 of them will take 1 year each. They agreed. And Narada also stipulated that if anyone violates that, during that 1 year, no one else should enter the palace. No one else should see either Draupadi or one who stays there. And if they see, then as penance, they should go into exile for 12 months. They should spend 12 months in forests, in holy places, pilgrimage, and also remain celibate during that period of penance. And all the 5 agreed. And there the story ends, and we have to continue with this. But there are a couple of points I wanted to say in this regard. Let me say them now. That when the Asuras started killing Brahmins and the sages, and they started obstructing yajnas, that was a turning point, because that was that yajnas are key to the Sanatana Dharma, Hindu Dharma. That is the one I wanted to stress on. What is, first of all, Sanatana Dharma? It is not a Sanatana Mata. It is not somebody's opinion, but it is a Dharma which is a way of living that upholds the ecosystem, that sustains the ecosystem, that keeps the balance in nature among plants, animals, various types of animals, various types of plants, water bodies, living plants and animals in the water, birds, or the entire universe. The balance in the universe is sustained by something, that is Dharma. And the do's and don'ts in Dharma is carefully thought out and put in place. Carefully thought out through years of meditation, tapasya. The tapasya of sages, most of it was on this point. What should be the Dharma? What should be done in this circumstance? And many sages thought deeply about it and realized the essence, and they put them in place. And that is how Sanatana Dharma developed over years of careful thinking by sages and codification of them in various shastras, dharma shastras, Upanishads, Puranas. The principles in them were brought out in Puranas. So that is the importance of Dharma. And one major aspect of Dharma is Yajna. The purpose of Yajna also is not to give nourishment to gods. After all, what is a god? That is another point I think we should discuss at length. But let us leave it at the moment. But the Yajnas essentially keeps the ecosystem in balance. There is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita, Annat bhavati bhurani, parjanyad anna sambhava, yajnal bhavati parjanyo, yajna karma samudbhava. Annat bhavati bhurani, the living beings, living plants and animals, they all take birth and sustain themselves through food, various types of food. And the food is created by rain. And the rains are fed or generated by yajna. The havans we do, they essentially become food for plants, and through them to the clouds and air, and they are condensed and come down as rain. Lots of, it's a complex process of cycle. And that is yajnat bhavati parjanya. Yajna karma samudbhava. And the yajnam is karma samudbhavam. It is through the religious rituals that this yajna is done. And there are many places in Bhagavad Gita where the important role of yajna in the ecosystem is mentioned. Elsewhere, devan bhavayata anena te deva bhavayantyami parasparam bhavayanta param sukham avapsyatha. Devan bhavayata anena. With this, the gods love human beings. Te deva bhavayan. We love God by offering through yajna. And te deva bhavayantyami. And they love us because of that. Parasparam bhavayanta. Through this mutual give and take relationship, param sukham avapsyatha. You shall live happily. And there are so many occasions when the central role of yajna, the whole of Vedas are centered around the concept of yajna. Of course, what yajna is itself is a very difficult concept. Yajna, on one hand, is said is an imitation of creation, is a play of creation, replay, and of course it is. Anyway, the what is it called? The four Vedas, they play a central role in the performance of yajna. So, if having said this much, when we get points about this, we shall come back to it. But tomorrow, let us continue with the main story. Namaskaram.